First of all, Limini.
Or Limini, as Gary O'Brien calls her, yes.
Limini.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you supplement Limini for the champion hurdle?
Well, first of all, let's be clear. Limini is no Annie Power. She's not. Now, she's an improving mare, and what Susanna and I talked about last weekend was, if the horse is entitled to run the race on her form and what she did to Apple's Jade last weekend. That's all well and good, and if she was entered, you'd take your chance. But when you're supplementing, the way we feel is we want to go there with a legitimate chance to win, because to go there and finish fourth and you get your money back, it's okay, you've had the thrill of running, but maybe you could win a race somewhere else. So that is the ongoing debate. She is in good form. I think a lot depends on what happens with Vroom Vroom Mag. And if Vroom Vroom Mag is in great form, I really believe her trip is 2-4. I think at 2 miles the last day you saw that. I'm not sure that wasn't her true form, but I'm not sure what it was. But saying that, I would say last year, on the day we supplemented Any Power, Woody told us that, gosh, I think we're supplementing the wrong horse. We should be supplementing Vroom Vroom because she's working the house down. So, you never know until the final day. We're going to wait to the last minute. He and I actually agreed.
So hang on. Let me just stop you there.
Yeah.
Let me just stop you there. Shh.
Yeah. Go on.
Does that mean that there's a possibility Vroom Vroom Mag could run in the champion hurdle?
Potentially, but I think this year... Sorry. Let me finish, for Christ's sake. Is this a banking crowd? Let me finish. I think it's unlikely she runs there. I think her trip now is more 2-4. I think that is the right race for her. I was about to say, before you rudely interrupted me, that that 3 miles is not her trip. She runs too keenly through her races. I think 2-4 is probably the optimal trip. So if all is going well at Vroom Vroom Mag, she'll run in the mare's race. We'll have to make a determination about Limini. And, I don't know. I've talked to people on the panel about what they think. It's a wide open race. She'd probably go there with a chance. Would you say 15, 20% chance of winning? I don't know. We'll see. If Vroom Vroom Mag's well, she'll run there.
The second point is, how worried are you, if at all, and do you put anything in it, that Ruby Walsh regularly comes off at the last?
For the absolute record, and I'd say that proportionately our horses have probably been subject to most of that. Doesn't worry me in the least bit. Ruby Walsh is a wonderful, wonderful pilot. He rides every race the same way. In my opinion, he's the best national hunt jockey, certainly of our era, that I've seen of all time, and that includes everybody else you can think of. I think that he puts himself in that position way more often than everybody else. So and the facts bear me out on this, his strike rate, or whatever it is, his fall rate, is higher because he's in that position. He would ride our horses any day of the week. He, by far for me, I'd rather have him going to the last than anybody else. Happens, it is what it is. And the other thing is, he tries every single time. And we're trying to win races.
How disappointed are you? How disappointed are you if Willie Mullins has 2 horses in a race and Ruby doesn't ride yours? How much does it annoy you?
It doesn't annoy me because we don't retain Ruby. My agreement with Willie all those years ago when we started, our agreement with Willie was that we wouldn't retain a jockey. And Woody didn't want us to. Woody said, I'd rather have them have the choices. It's better for the yard, this, that, and the other. And we said, fine. And it's worked out well for all parties involved, including Ruby and Paul Townend. Now, the only thing so it doesn't annoy me. Those are the rules of the game. What bothers me is when he doesn't pick our horse. I think the last time he was wrong was in a maiden hurdle in 2005. So when he gets off one of ours...
you're screwed.
Yeah, in essence. But we never win. I think Scots Irish, in a race at Easter time in 2005 or 2006, was the last horse he got off of ours that won. He doesn't get it right all the time, but when it comes to ours, he tends to get it right. So when he's off the horse, I don't have high hopes.
And when you said he tries all the time, very pointedly, the inference that obviously one draws from that is that you see other jockeys and you're feeling they're not trying all the time.
No, I think there's a lot of nonsense out there that people say, Ruby's trying to fall purposely at the last.
Oh, well, that's bollocks, isn't it?
Exactly right. That's my point, yeah.
All right. Paul Kealy, what's going to win the champion hurdle?
Boy, you didn't even ask me. I think Limini might run, but I think Yanworth is the horse to beat. Sorry.
Coming back to you. Sorry.
What's that?
Paul.
Lots of interest in Yanworth again. I'll tell you what worries me about Yanworth is the way he jumps, right? He's very big over his hurdles. He may have to get the same rider he got last year around the outside, right? And that'll cost him ground. And in a race that is this tight, right, that's not going to help his chances. I don't know, it might be different. They might hunt around the inner or whatever. But, for me, I struggle. Look, Bouverdere is not a horse you can make a form case for being favourite. And I'm not the sort of person that normally follows style over substance. But there's something about him, I think he's very, very good. I was at a do the other night, and Michael Buckley came over to me and he said, Nicky says that if it's not soft ground, Brain Power will beat Bouverdere. And I didn't have the heart to tell him that Nicky's been telling everybody else that Bouverdere will win the champion hurdle. So I think...
I had the same conversation with Buckles, and he's a great friend of mine, but you're bang on, yeah.
Yeah, I think if there's a star in the race, and look, it's short of stars, it'll be Bouverdere. I wouldn't be in a rush to back it. I think Limini should be supplemented. I think she'd have a chance. My initial feeling when she beat Applesjade was that Applesjade ran below form, but all the speed-figured boys will tell you. I mean, don't get me wrong, I get bored shitless when people start talking about times and sectionals, but they do have a point at times. You know what I mean? And they say that that was a proper, really top-class run. So you have to look on that. If the race was run on the other track, I'd back the new one. At a price. No, but it's not run on the other track. It's not run on the other track. I mean, he's very, very, very good round the other track. But other than that, I'm struggling. I've actually backed Petit Mouchoir at 33s, and I'm not remotely excited. Yeah, after timing, sorry, but I'm not remotely excited about it. For some reason, I can't have it at all now.
So sorry, just to respond to that quickly, the old one has no chance. I mean, we've been talking about this horse. If there's a Veterans Champion hurdle, he might win it. He has no chance.
He'll beat at least half the horses that are ahead of him in the bay.
I got that, but that tells you what kind of a champion hurdle
Yeah,
it is.
exactly.
All right. Joe, what wins the champion hurdle, quickly? Yanworth?
Yeah, all day long. I was at Wincanton when he won. They've had a lot of problems. Question him as you may. I think Cheltenham brings out the best of him, will win.
Yanworth. And Noel?
For me, if you think brain power should be backed at single figures and you're lacking some of it, whilst Limini is excellent, her jumping isn't up to scratch to win a champion hurdle in my eyes.
Have you told the boss not to run her, not to supplement? If you were Rich, would you supplement her?
No.
There you go.
For me, I think
that's another 20 grand in your pay packet.
Well, pay me a week's wages, but I think Vroom Vroom.
What did you say? I don't know.
I said it would pay for a week's wages. Vroom Vroom is good enough or fast enough to win around Punchestown over 2 miles. Punchestown is an incredibly speedy track. If you're good enough to win at Grade 1 over 2 mile in Punchestown, then 2 mile around Cheltenham won't pose any difficulties to you. So I don't think Limini jumps well enough. For me, Yanworth in the style of Hardy Eustace is the bet for this race in my eyes.
Whoa. I'm just going to have to stop you there 1 second. Just shush. Right. Listen. I'm hearing what Noel says, but Hardy Eustace and Yanworth, I cannot think of two horses who are less like one another.
No, what I mean essentially is that they don't look like they're blessed with speed for 2 miles on the face of it.
Okay,
having come back from having run in the Neptune. But I like the only thing is Yanworth does spend a bit too much time in the air. I'm hoping that they go very fast in the race. But Petit Mouchoir will act as a rabbit to chase down I think if Janwerth's within a couple of lengths turning in,
Well, I would tell you one thing, just for everybody else to know. The one thing that's in the back of my mind is when Faheen, Annie obviously went out first, then Faheen went out thereafter. And I was talking to Ruby, and Ruby said, I said, who would you ride if you could ride a horse? Just before Limini came on the scene, he said Janwerth. So that means a lot to me as well. So I think Janwerth's the one to beat.
Hasn't Barry said that he would have ridden Janwerth?
Yeah, I think Barry.
Has he as well?
Yeah, I think Barry would have ridden Janwerth, and if Barry makes some miraculous Lazarus-like recovery, then I think that's what he would do. But just quickly before we move on to the stayers hurdle, I know we're talking hypothetical here, and all you want to do is back winners this year. But just for interest's sake, Annie Power bolted up in the champion hurdle last year. Should have been her third champion hurdle. Sadly, it was only her first. Faheen won the year before by half the track. If Faheen and Annie Power had turned up and you'd run them both, which you said you never would, but if you had run them both in the same race, which horse? Shush! I'm asking the man who knows. Which horse would have won?
The people, though. Faheen, of course, he would have won.